Greetings and welcome, folks. For my first trick, I am going to do a quick sound test so that I can make sure you can actually hear stuff that is coming in through other sources. And in so doing, let's see. Nope, let's fix that. Yes, professionalism. So, you see, the good thing is, I caught it at the beginning. Are you actually hearing the waves, Matthias, or are you messing with me? This is what I need to know. Because if you're actually hearing the waves, I can do something about that. Just have to find them. Let's see. My backdrop, it says. Yeah, you might actually hear the waves right now. Let me turn that off. Are the waves gone now? I'm sure the waves are probably gone now. It is, isn't it? It is a fair question. Okay. Alright. And so we should also hear this little spike. Yes. Good. Okay. I think we're good. Okay, yay, technology. It's been a while. Someone opened me up with small and precise tools not too long ago, and so I'm just amazed that I'm still up and around. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim, your friendly Lacuna GM. I use he/him pronouns, and this is our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Invisible Sun is a surreal slice of life game by Monte Cook Games. We are integrating the directed campaign, but most of this game happens spontaneously, as will become blindingly obvious shortly. But first, let's go around and have a little welcome wagon for our Vizsla returning today. Let us start with Djinnaya. Hello.
Hello. My name is Djinnaya, and I use she/her pronouns. And tonight I will be playing Shah Gamelan, an established gallant of the Order of Makers who cages adversaries. And Shah Gamelan also uses she/her pronouns, and I'm very excited to be back to this game.
Me too. Yay. Yay. It's been so long. It's been forever. Let us move on to Anino. Hello.
Hey there, everybody. My name is Anino. I play Mac the Husk, the itinerant enthusiastic of the Order of the Goetica, who provides a vessel for spirits. I use he/him pronouns, as does Mac. So, yeah, there we go.
Excellent. And finally, let us move to Danielle. Hello.
I'm Danielle. I use she/her pronouns, and so does my character, Vormera Vanas, aka Vor. And Vor is a connected ardent of the Order of Weavers who shepherds minds.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Also, just as a quick reminder for folks, I'm going to go ahead and put this at the top of the thing. Anino's doing an extra life right now. This is thing to aid Boston Children's Hospital. There's a donation link in the chat. It's also the donation link that you see on the screen. And that's going to culminate in a thing, but we'll come to that. We'll come to that at some point and let you know what that is. But in the meantime, let me go over the. Let me go over our standard thing. Like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll go back and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black or on it, or we'll put it behind a veil, so we'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we are moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that with an XN or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. All right. Lungs. Okay. Unfortunately, tonight Wilde and Arras could not be with us, but they are here in spirit. Let's see.
They are here in shadow.
They're here in shadow, actually. That's the problem. That's the problem. It was shadow that sort of yanked them back. Shadow responsibilities. So that's in fact what we have going on.
Maybe they didn't believe hard enough that they also failed to believe that they were where they were and ended up back.
I see. I think it's interesting because Oroshka just isn't seemingly been around, but the Shantano was the only one who failed that role at the end. So I totally feel as though that's entirely appropriate for the situation. So what is the situation? Well, our Vizsla are in the middle of transporting a prisoner back to the Gold. They're actually headed to the Gold Sun. This prisoner they're transporting. They didn't get his name. He's an Elderbryn, and he's part apparently of a group that's sort of broken off and been acting up recently. Apparently causing some problems for the being over there known as Her Elegance. And that, I think, is the amount of information that has thus far been spoken about their prisoner, for the most part. Aside from that, plus, is working with a guy who was basically getting over a breakup and not able to. But in any case, I should probably dig up that guy's name again in case there's some sort of conversation happens where we need proper names. But in the meantime, that aside, what else is happening? Well, so yeah, they rode the trolley up to. They transported this thing on the trolley up to where the boats take off. That port in Saturnine. They after stopping briefly to play a few rounds of dice with members of the Rat Parliament,
I forgot I have that guy's wig.
You have his wig. Yes, you have the wig that belongs to the Minister of Garbage. So it is an official and stately wig. And
Definitely going to come in handy later.
It is a little small for you, unfortunately, because it is made to fit the head of a rat. So there is that.
If only we could
issue.
do magic.
If only. If only.
I need to put that in my inventory.
You have one.
Minister of Garbage wig.
Minister of Garbage wig. That's right. Oh my god. But yes, so that happened. They went up to the port. They got on this boat that belongs to a mime who is actually is a friend of Aroshka's, who has agreed to transport them across the sea to take care of this prisoner into the Gold, under the Gold Sun, and they're hoping that perhaps along the way they might stumble into something by deliberately not doing the other thing that they were working on. And we'll see. I don't know if that'll work yet or not, but we'll find out. Perhaps it will. Let's see, what else? So yeah, they got on the boat, which is apparently powered by imagination, they found out, because there was a prisoner in the hold that didn't exist. Because there was only a prisoner in the hold because they expected there to be a prisoner in the hold. So they went into the fog, and after a while, as they got to that point where they hit the transition, and the way that I imagine this, they saw many strange things in the ocean, but then the way I imagine this, I don't know exactly where the transition point is physically. From what I've read thus far, they don't get into too many specifics, so I just sort of assume you can sail far enough and get wherever you need to. You had to go between these two cliffs. The Immutable Cliffs, as they are known. And they found out why these are called the Immutable Cliffs, and that is that their opinions are relatively immutable, it would seem. Because the the incoming cliff noticed, as it sits there trying to maintain the barrier between the way things are and the way things are if they go in all directions simultaneously, which is kind of more where you get into gold territory. Not necessarily all directions, but it's constant movement. At any rate, this thing looked down. It's sort of a sculpture. It's like the Thinker, except it's really big and it's in the ocean, and you can only see it from like the shoulders up. There's one on either side. This is the one facing them. Looked down and spoke to the one person who was still up on deck, which was Shantano, who tried to convince it, this immutable cliff, that it's a magical engine. And the cliff was not convinced. The boat stopped. And that is where we stopped as well. So, I guess the question becomes, everyone's below deck. They heard this conversation with the right-hand immutable cliff. What's everyone doing?
Well, I'm going to immediately head up from the hold because I had gone down to check on our prisoner. But I think probably
You're still doing this.
I was very nice. Hello. But I think even before like the boat had stopped, that I would have started heading up the stairs. And so in my mind, it's kind of like the boat stops, and then Shaw like bursts out of the gate, and then I guess when I do that, is Shantano there?
You briefly for a moment see what looks like Shantano kind of scratching their head. And then you see sort of wisps of mist sort of overtake him, and he vanishes into shadow. They vanish into shadow. And so they are no longer here. Shantano has gone into shadow for the time being. Apparently, this confused them a bit when this happened and the boat stopped. Or perhaps it was just an unusual sort of break in reality that reminded them of something.
I think I will run forward and put my hands on my hips, and with my best white lady, can I talk to your manager voice? I think Shaw says, "Did you stop our ship?"
Are you channeling Karen right now? Quick question: What are Mac and Vor doing?
I probably am going up to the deck as well. So I think we were maybe a little bit deeper or elsewhere because we were dealing with the prisoner, the imaginary prisoner in the hold. So I probably arrive on the deck just in time to see Shah with, hands on the hips.
Yes.
I want to speak to your manager, Immutable Gate.
Did Mac also go up, or?
Mac would go up. He is also very fascinated about the tone that he had just heard. And nothing secretly thrills him more than seeing a customer service dust-up. So he's actually going to break out a snack, some beef jerky that he carried with him.
Excellent.
And a can of soda. And he's just going to watch with fascination because the grift is on now.
Before I forget, I think we were up to 3 cards. I'm actually going to go ahead and draw 3 cards just so that we're at the right place on the Path of Suns. And now I shall draw a fourth card to figure out how we're flavoring this scene. And we have reached a thing. We've reached a thing where I'm showing too much. But no, there we are. The untrustworthy mirror.
Oh.
All right. It's the four of mysteries. Gold is up, silver is down. Interesting. Its meanings are illusion, false identity, and failure. Can we trust the mirror? Shadow thinking would say yes, but wisdom gained in the actuality suggests otherwise. When no one can see your reflection, is it really yours? If you have to look in a mirror to confirm your own appearance or identity, how do we know it's not lying? The world is full of illusion and deception. Believing your own eyes isn't always wise, and believing what's in the mirror is a step removed even from that. In divination, something that appears real is not. It could be that someone's in disguise, or it might just be that an idea, a fact, or an emotion is actually a deception. Taken broadly, the untrustworthy mirror suggests failure. Interesting. Okay. Now, the funny thing is, you're going up against a scion of immutable reality when I drew this card, so I've got to figure that out. But I shall persevere. So yeah.
Jim, I think you're muted.
Yeah, the immutable is muted. You don't actually see it moving its mouth when it speaks or anything. It's just, it's a cliff. But you can hear it. I stopped nothing. The boat has no engine.
Well, I don't see why that's any business of yours. I mean, many things operate without obvious machinations in this world. This isn't Shadow.
Only that which operates by a known system, a well and known system, should pass through. Who knows what would happen otherwise?
I beg your pardon, sir, but belief is, I don't know, it's the oldest system that there is. Isn't that what made the gods? Isn't that what made magic in the first place? I just think it's very rude for you to impose these old-fashioned, antiquated, stubborn ideas on our poor little ship. All we're trying to do is just complete our trip.
So, behind you folks, you don't hear it, but probably more, and also I've got everyone in the wrong place again. Let me fix that, because apparently I have no idea how OBS works. Let's fix that. Okay. Yay. All right. No, it will. So Mac and Vormira will see kind of coming out of the cabin. You'll see the mime coming out, and he's freaking out right now. He's like running around. He's running around deck, just kind of like in a panic. He's like, he's trying to yell at people that don't exist, and is trying to get them to do stuff, and nothing seems to be happening. And So at this point, the cliff will just continue looking down because it's the only direction it can look. And it'll say, "Have you proof?"
I mean, really, Mr. Cliff, do you need any proof other than the fact that we actually made it this far with faith in the performance art of pantomime to bring us across the sea on a mission of great importance?
And really, I don't see why we have to prove ourselves to you. I mean, this is none of your business.
I mean, we're not here casting doubt as to whether or not you exist.
Yeah, that's just rude.
I have always existed. The immutable has no beginning and no ending. It is immutable.
I'm sorry, do you have proof of that?
Hmm. You try hitting a button and hope that it works. Yay, good. So he will, it will sort of as it looks down and say, "I guard the boundary. It is I who require proof."
Right, but do you have proof that you guard the boundary? Because without that, I'm afraid we can't.
Yeah, I mean, how do we know that you are actually the authority that allows innocent migrants to cross the sea and deliver?
I mean, we have no proof that you are the guardian that you claim.
Yeah. How do we know that this is not a false toll?
Absolutely. I mean, you may be a immutable cliff, but I don't really see any reason to believe that you're the immutable cliff. It does look like there is another cliff that looks very similar to you right there.
Yeah, I mean, we could just go to that cliff. Maybe that cliff would be less demanding.
Okay, so I'm trying to think what kind of the role that one must make to put a logic puzzle inside another logic puzzle, and see whether he, and it's really actually what this really is to see whether he's going to blink. That's really kind of what this is. So I believe I said the difficulty before for this. This is a level 6 thing, and this is more a thing where anyone one person can. I'm not going to make everyone roll against it, but it's like one person can lead and the others can help if they so desire.
The difficulty 6.
Yeah, difficulty is 6.
And what we're rolling for is to see if we can basically successfully get inside this being's head.
Yeah, basically is I just kind of want to see if you can phase this this being with this response that you're giving.
Okay, well, I have my 1 level of skill and charm, plus I still have 1 interaction Benny. So I can lend those to this.
I want to say that I could add an interaction Bene to this if Vor is going to use her charm, because since we go back some, and we sort of just know how each of us operate. I feel like Max got this natural tendency to help whatever grift or thing that Bormera is throwing down. So
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Whatever grift. But I mean, actually, yes.
So do we want to do this with Vor leading and the others helping?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. So if so that gives us, that's 3 so far.
Yeah, so knocks down
And
to
I'd
3.
like to add at least one interaction. Can I add an interaction and an intellect to be like for having kind of like laid the groundwork of confusion and intimidation before Vor steps forward to be charming? Also for having been kind of a bitch, which makes it easier for Vor to be charming by comparison.
That does help. That does help. I'll count that as I can count that as an asset.
So that takes us down to, that's 5 total, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you need a 1 or better.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else that realistically could be useful here.
I think the rat's wig might help too.
Just for the sheer charming value of it.
It's the oh my god, that's like the only symbol of authority here right now. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, like,
Wear like a jaunty hat.
yeah, can I wear that like a jaunty hat? Does it make me look more authoritative?
Oh my god.
Just this tiny little wig perched on Moore's head.
This will only work. So here's the deal, right? If you're trying to use that as an additional thing to knock it down to like not rolling, basically, is what it would knock it down to. I'm going to require you to somehow explain this in the context of your office as the Minister of Garbage.
All right,
What if we believed that there is the Minister of Garbage just sitting on Vor's shoulder, and so Mac just carefully places the wig on top of the rat and uses the power of belief to essentially suspend it there as if it was being worn by.
And then I will say to the face, look, this is the Minister of Garbage. He's very official, and he's here because we are transporting a body, which is at its core garbage, recyclable, but garbage. So we are here in an official capacity, and therefore you have to let us through.
So it just sort of so there's a pause.
This trash needs to be returned to the green, or to the gold. Remember the gold,
The gold.
right? This trash needs to be returned to the gold so that it can be recycled.
There's a long pause. And it just sort of is like, it seems to actually, when it's just sort of like, it's like it stops for a second. It's like, what? And you hear this sort of low rumble again, but it's like, you realize that it's its voice, that it's sort of like it's talking to itself. It's like, wait, no, does that work? No, I'll just appeal to my brother if I don't do it. No, we can't have that.
Look, I would hate to have to report you for obstruction of official garbage duties. But I will if I have to.
I am barring you from nothing. It is not what I do.
Then why are you still here? Let us just pass.
I am not barring your way.
He's just rejecting our beliefs.
Well, he's certainly entitled to his own beliefs, but that should have no bearing on our reality.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with you completely, Mac. I know that we often are very on two different ideas, but in this moment, I agree completely because, for example, I don't believe that he is the immutable cliff. So if that's the case, you just have to not believe to make something not true. Then at that point, he would just
yeah,
not be here, and
I
our boat would be heading right on through.
an excellent point, Shaw. And then I turned back to the face. I was like, we don't believe you are immutable.
Very well. I have done and am doing nothing to your vessel. There is a path through. If your vessel can take it, then take it.
Very well then.
Then, off with you.
And so Mac is going to actually
It doesn't
start
really
to,
move because it's immutable. But
so Mac is just going to start. Well, good day to you. And Mac is just going to start unfurling the sails in pantomime.
silent.
And
Yeah, the mime is currently sitting on a barrel, just sort of like this.
Captain, we have our orders. Let's be off.
Captain, please get the ship moving again. Everything's fine. We've sorted things out with customs.
Are they supposed to move their lips?
Do you need someone to take over as captain?
You see, actually, and you see it's really weird because he's shifting a little bit, and you see that the whiteness of his face is sort of shifting to a more fleshy color as he transforms, right? And he's just sort of like. He's thinking. It looks very clearly as though he's thinking about saying something.
Oh, no. No.
Captain, the show must go on. At all costs.
If I imagine really hard, can I restart the engine?
Shaw's gonna reach over.
It seems like he has to believe it for it to work.
Yeah.
Because see, look. Vor's really good at running a con. Mac knows this. Mac's really good at helping. So in this circumstance, Vor's running a con on herself to believe in the engine so hard
God.
that they become real again.
Okay. So. Oh my God. Okay.
I'm executing a grift on myself to get the engines going again.
All right. Let's reach inside our own skulls for a moment and see how this works. So. Yeah, I mean, it's we can either go from the angle if you want to try to convince the mime that they're still a mime. That's one way to do it. Another way is if you want to use your belief to try to channel that, then you can do that as well. So who's taking the lead on this, and what? I'm gonna call this a difficulty 4.
Why don't we do both? I'll try to con myself into believing the engines are there. And if the two of you are able to help in any way and or convince the mime.
Yeah. Let's go ahead then. If we're gonna do that, then let's get the mime working first. See if we can get the mime working first, and then we'll see if the con will then help the launching of the vessel, I think. So how do you want to tackle this?
So I feel like if we need to make the mime believe before we go forward, that the trick is to make the mime take a mime action. Like, so like my thought was that I could reach into a barrel that's not there
Mm-hmm.
and pull out an apple and be like, maybe you're hungry. I mean, you look like you might be hungry. You're the wrong color and everything. And here, have an apple. And like just mime toss this apple to the mime and see if he catches
If he
it.
catches it, okay. So this is a difficulty of 4. What do you want to throw at this aside from an imaginary apple?
I mean, really, what more do you need than an imaginary
I
apple?
know, right? You would think.
What have I got? Would this be an interaction thing?
Yeah, you're interacting.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely could be.
I could put another point of interaction.
Okay.
It's I can't just make things up, right? It has to be on my character sheet. So I was gonna say I could be pulling from that experience of being on the stage where, you know, Shaw really was gonna stay on the very edge, but then she totally got into this like acting moment with this mime and she had a really good time and she enjoyed the imaginary audience that was clapping. And so like can I have a
that as an
point
asset
by like
here.
recalling that experience?
Yeah, generally speaking, I can the way that I'm doing this in my head anyway, and I realize asset is more a term from Cipher System, but I'm sort of using that here in my head as just an additional thing that is helping you out, basically. So I'll go ahead and I don't usually want to do more than 1 per action. So yeah, but yeah, we can use this as.
Okay,
as that.
so I spent an
I'll bring it
interaction
down 1.
Benny, and then I used my good memories of
Yeah, so that'll be 2 or
acting
better.
away. So it's a 2.
Mm-hmm.
I got an 8.
Okay,
I did not get a 10. Sorry.
that is good.
Yes.
So yeah, you do that, and he's like, and you just the last minute you sort of toss it, and he's like, and you see the color draining from his face as this happens, and he's like,
and you
sort of shrugs, and he's like,
and you should definitely fix your captain's hat. You've got it all askew.
yeah, he's taken it off, and so it's like he's like. It's like it suddenly appears on his head again as he's sort of working it out. He's like, okay, Vor, what is this thing you're working on conning yourself?
Yeah, so you can hear Vor, like, it's not quite a pep talk because she's not really pepping herself up. She's really actively trying to deceive herself into believing something so hard that she can make it reality. And like all of her powers are stacked around like minds and mental manipulation, right? So she's like mentally rearranging her own like self.
Oh my god.
True.
This can only end well.
Yes, yeah, can only end well. So she's just sitting there going, the engine is real and we're going to the goal. The engine is real and we're going to the goal. And like with every repetition, she can feel it becoming like a little bit more real.
Okay. So,
You weren't prepared for this, were you?
I'm just trying to figure out, okay, so you are,
If it matters.
what level of things are you right now?
If it matters, I have my skill in charm. I have 3 levels of skill in game theory. I have my my abilities are my read thoughts ability is 2, and my disrupt mental patterns ability is level 3.
Okay, so yeah, I think you've got enough to just clear this right out. So we can do this without rolling. However, if we do this without rolling, I will mention there will be an effect.
I mean, I'm willing to roll roll for it? What do you want? What do you want me to put on?
I'm good. I'm good either way. But so like if you want, it's like you don't really have to roll for it, but I do know that my question is this something that you want to just deal with in this scene and then have it not affect you anymore, is I think the question.
I am open to this having ramifications later.
Okay. Well, let's break out the Rams then. So you do this. Convincing yourself that a thing that is there is not there, or no, vice versa. The thing that is not there is there. Okay.
Like, if it makes sense, what I'm essentially trying to do here, if anybody's read Dune, is in Children of Dune, when Ganima like puts the mental block on herself to make her truly believe that Leto's dead.
So this is where things become interesting. So Vor, from this point until some point in the future, as yet undetermined, so you're going to hear the engine start up, which was something you could not previously do. You can now see and hear everything that the mime is miming.
Yes, I love it!
So he now has a crew. That are now so the boat begins moving, and the mime just sort of gets up again, and he starts shouting things, and it's this weird, confusing thing because I think Vor, you still know that he's a mime. You still know that he's not producing any sound. But you see these people in blue suits running back and forth. They're like, "Aye, Captain!" and they're running and doing all the things necessary to get the boat moving. And so no one else hears you still have the regular mime experience, Mac and Shah, where he's doing things and imaginary things are happening. And the boat starts up again. And it sails between the cliffs.
I turn around and wave at the face.
It just passes by. It does not move. As you come out the other side, you see there's the other one that's facing the opposite direction.
Jerk.
But you can see it. You don't have to interact with it if you don't want to. And the boat proceeds on. Okay, so
the rest of you see Vor sit down somewhere. Oh my god, no! But see, seriously though, the question is like, can I sit down on a barrel that's not really there?
Yes, you can. There are all kinds of things here that the mime has been miming that you can see now. And when you sit down and the mime is talking to you, for some reason you can understand everything that he's saying.
Nice.
Yes.
We have a mime translator.
That's wonderful. Yeah, so I'll sit down on something that's very clearly not there to the rest of the group, and just like relax. Like, this is great. What a wonderful crew you have.
Hey, thank you. It's trained real hard, as best I could.
You did a great job.
Thank you. They're good folks. He's smoking a pipe. But they're a little bit light in thinking in the thinking department. If you.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, but
look, the ship's moving. Everything's good. Do you have another one of those pipes?
I think I do on me somewhere.
Perfect.
Here we go. And he hands it to you.
Borbal's like summon up a little bit of fire to like light the pipe.
Yeah. So you see them just sort of sitting there smoking imaginary pipes. She's sitting in midair.
Do we actually hear her talking, or is
Yeah, you hear Vor talking. You see her using fire on nothing.
I think that Shaw kind of goes to sort of a less visible place and tries to imagine a bench and sit down on it very carefully, and like, because she's got all this metal clothing, you just hear this huge clatter of metal as she like sits on the thing that's not there and just falls to the ground in like this heap of blacksmithing work.
Question though, can I see you? Because if I can see you, I will turn to you and go, Shaw, the bench is over there.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I think I'll stand.
Yeah, the captain points to where the bench is, but anyway. Oh.
So I have a question for you, GM. So I've like successfully pulled this con on myself. As far as I'm concerned, everything on this ship is 100% real, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Absolutely. Oh my god. So, as you sail on, you make it to, you make it through to this point. Now here, let me pull up the 9,000 references, so that I have this in front of me. This is a rich setting. It has many things in it. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. So, the thing being, you get a little bit further, and the water immediately starts getting choppier. The thing's just sort of moving back and forth, and so the crew has to batten down the hatches, and you can see that the sun is kind of gold overhead, and you see the captain sort of again yelling, and for what the captain is yelling is get below decks.
Captain, what's
we're entering the Dollar Sea. The Dollar Sea. It changes like that.
Oh, okay.
Weather will sweep us up. We could get a monsoon within seconds.
Oh, that would be bad. All right. I'll be below decks then. Just let us know if you need any assistance.
Aye.
I'll turn and go. Like y'all probably wanna come below.
Okay.
You didn't hear what the captain said?
Yeah, totally. And Mac is just gonna nudge Shaw. She's like, right, Shaw?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be safer below deck, so we should.
Okay. Great. We'll follow you.
All right. And yeah, Bor goes downstairs, and like again, I'm guessing like all the furniture and like the cabins and everything is imaginary.
Yep, everything is there.
I would like to lay down in an imaginary hammock.
You look down the hallway and you see there's a prisoner pacing back and forth in the cell.
I like wave to the prisoner.
Like looks up from reading. She looks up from reading her book. Just shakes her head. Looks back down.
But yeah, I'll go find a cabin and like lay down in a hammock for maximum disconnect of reality.
Yeah. Now, I should point out the storm is real, so everyone can see that as the ship tosses and turns back and forth. Some amount of time passes. Again, I'm not going to make rolls for seasickness or anything like that, but you can feel free to handle that on your own if you so desire, depending on whether or not you think you would have that or not. if your character is prone to seasickness, you're not going to feel too great right now. But after a little while, things sort of start leveling. After a second, things just kind of start leveling out, and then you get these periods where it's very level, and then it's like, and then it's like there's an octopus at the window, and then it's fine again. So it's kind of, and the weird thing is the water looks. And that's the weird thing is the water looks golden from here when you're looking out the porthole.
Well, I just think this is horribly inappropriate.
What? Why?
You don't see it?
See what?
All this gold.
Well, we were going to the gold.
There is so much gold out there right now.
Yeah, it's just bright and cheap looking.
It's not going to the brass, Mac. It's going to the gold. Brass is cheap looking. Gold is elegant.
Well, and I don't know what you expected when we said that we were going to a place called, it is literally called the Gold.
I don't know. I just thought it would be a little bit more diverse.
Well, I don't know. Vor wears tons of gold and it looks stunning on her.
Thank you.
But that's just 4.
I will choose not to take offense at that. Just 4. I'm not just anything.
At one point, you look out over the ocean during a moment when it's calm, and you see this big, what looks like a big metal-skinned octopus that's flying over the top of the ocean, and flitting toward like an island, and it's got big sort of golden black moth looking wings as it sort of, and during that moment when you can you look out and you see it out there, the captain will dash in and be like, and Vor, what you hear is, just be careful not to regret anything right now. The Forgiver's out there.
Oh, well, that sounds terrible. Yeah, well, that's good because I have no regrets about anything I've ever done. So, no danger here.
And a few moments later, a water funnels start emerging and things get chaotic again. Eventually, after much, things seem to settle down a bit. It's now sort of raining a little bit, very light rain. When you pull into what looks like you're coming up to a port, and the captain will come down again and be like, Vor will hear cries of land ho from above, and the captain will come down and just sort of explain that there is that you're coming into port.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. We will get ready to disembark.
He tips his hat. So yeah, weather is fairly stable at this point. So when you come back above deck, what is it that you're looking at? So, actually, I think I'm going to draw a card, and I will tell you what you're looking at that way.
So in the meantime, I think Mac is going to be watching Vor for a moment and just thinking very carefully. And he's going to actually pull out a map of Fartown. And, he's just going to casually fold it up and he's going to show the map to Vor. It's like, hey, check it out. So just so you know, this is where Limerence Street is. And he's going to sort of just try to piggyback off the, her very unending, like unshaken belief in her reality. And sort of just be like, so this is where Chantano and I ran into a little bit of trouble. So, when we're done here, we're just going to head on over and, finish up a little bit of business.
So I don't know what the knock-on effects of this were, because my intention was just to convince myself about the engines on this ship.
I don't think the mime is quite powerful enough to undo that spell, but we'll see.
But like I'll guess I'll look at. Limerence Street is still not on the map, right?
Yeah, Limerence Street isn't on the map because, as far as any records are concerned, it never existed.
So I'll just be like, Mac, I don't know what you're talking about. Limerence Street's not there.
But it totally is. And he's just going to draw a little circle, like, around it. Just like, it's like right here.
I don't know what you're getting at, but we haven't found it yet.
I'm telling you, it's just right here. I don't know why you're just suddenly so against this.
I'm not against it, but like we went to try to find it and it wasn't there. We went into that creepy soul thing.
I guess we'll just have to table it for now and agree to disagree.
All right.
He sort of figured that there was. He just wanted to see maybe he might be able to do some piggyback off of this.
Well, let me read this card because, okay, funny thing, is that this card is the lucky coin.
That sounds very Vor.
Its meanings are good fortune, wealth, freedom, unexpected luck, and unstructured. We put a lot of value in objects. We place a lot of importance in their presence in our lives. Some people might have a favorite shirt, a trusty handkerchief, or, of course, a lucky coin. Armed with a talisman such as this, no harm can befall us, but we only barely understand the truth of such things. The luck they bring, if they work, never comes in an expected form. In divination, something good is coming. It's likely nothing one planned or was expecting, and it can come in many forms: success, money, or the elimination of a problem. The lucky coin is a positive card turn and suggests that the person in question has perhaps less structure weighing upon them than they thought. Fewer strings for the marionette, so to speak. They are more free than they believed, free to act and do as they please. So I think what I'm going to say happens as kind of a result of this. This is as good a time for this to happen as any. By the way, right now, silver magic is up and gold magic is down. You're in the gold. I'm not sure what the effect is because I haven't read that far, but we'll figure it out.
Family too, if that is relevant at all.
Notions family, yes. There was a thing once that I read a number of months ago that told me that there's an effect of some kind that happens. I wish I could remember what that is. But I'm sure in time we'll sort it out. I think if it's your family, there's a thing. There is a thing that goes on. It's in the key. But we'll sort that out. We'll jump off that cliff when we come to it. But for right this moment, what I think happens is I think you're looking up from the map as Mac is trying to tell you this. And for a moment, it's kind of like, because you still kind of have that thought in your head about Limerence Street. And on the wall of the cabin, you see something that was not there a moment ago. It looks like... Now, I have to say this very carefully, because of how this works. And, you know, things that people have written versus things that are... There's this large, what looks like an ornate looking glass for a moment on the wall.
Right?
Hmm?
Mirrors are bad, though, right?
That is what is commonly, that is the belief that is commonly held. The thing is, well, and this is perhaps no exception, because you don't actually see a reflection in it. But you see, it's like, you see someone sitting, sort of, you think they've got their arms strapped down to them. And it's a woman, her outline is hazy. And she's strapped into a chair, and she's looking straight ahead.
I'll just
Her
do
hair
it.
is sort of falling down her sides for a second.
This probably looks terribly strange to Shaw and Mac, but like I'll just wave to try to see if she reacts to, like, if she can see me.
And she can. And for just a split second before this all seems to fade, you can almost hear her saying something. It's very faint, as though...
Can I read her mind?
As the GM, I feel obligated to ask, are you sure you would like to do that?
As a player, no, but as Vor, that's sort of her default action. Because I think as a Vizsla, I would probably recognize that this is probably not going to last. And I want to try to gather as much information as I can.
Oh, absolutely.
In the brief amount of time that I have.
Let's
Recognizing
see.
that this could backfire horribly.
Especially
Looking-
given that you were just given this huge warning about not doing that.
My last encounter with the rectifier went fine.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely nothing. No problems.
My personal motto for all my characters: what could go wrong?
I mean, yeah. Characters, drive them like you stole them.
That's fair. This isn't giving me her level, unfortunately.
Okay. My mind reading ability is level 2.
I'm just going to arbitrarily say that she's a 7.
All right, I will give it a go. I don't know. I probably can't get into her brain, but I will give it a shot.
All right. So what do you want to? What are you using?
So this is my. It says I can read the thoughts of one being within. I know what they're thinking, what their overall mental state is, and telepathically bless as long as I concentrate and do nothing else.
Oh, is it just a thing you do, or is there a?
Well, it's level 2, and then it says +1 die. So.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you definitely are going to be
I
rolling.
have to roll for it.
So you're going to be rolling 2 dice.
Yep.
It's a level 2 ability, and so you've knocked it down to a 5 already. And anything else you want to bring to this?
We're just gonna see if we're gonna leave it up to chance.
All right, 5 or better. 8. Congratulate. No, that's a 7. Sorry, it's a 1 and a 7. Because I can't read anymore. 7. Congratulations and condolences.
Just what you want to hear your GM say.
All right, let me pull this up here. It's very faint, and you don't hear all of it. You only hear sort of the very beginning of it. For the briefest of moments. Let's see. So, a rush of all things simultaneously hits your mind like several trucks carrying bricks. It's kind of like drinking from the fire hose. And you're lucky that this is a thing that's in your imagination and lasts only for a second. Even as it starts, it's fading away. The pain is extraordinary, though, for that brief blast. And she's saying a lot of things. It's like a litany that she's been saying over and over again. You catch the very beginning of it before you lose contact. And you can just make out it's really more her mouthing the words, and you're barely hearing, Axon is the street.
Axon is the street. Axon's the person that I was supposed to go talk to, right?
I don't remember if you were supposed to go and talk to him or not.
That's the person who the rectifier mentioned to me.
He did mention him as someone that was a mutual acquaintance of yours.
Right.
You did know an Axon. I can't remember right now what Mr. Child said specifically about him. But there was something, Axon was, I think, might have been involved in some way, in something, it might have been
he was
one
also,
of your, I'm sorry?
That's in my notes that Axon was also curtailed in the same fashion that I was.
Yeah. Yeah. There was some sort of thing going on. So both Mr. Child basically did both you and Axon. That's what you've got. That's what you got out of it.
Okay, and I don't recognize the woman at all.
She actually looks a little familiar.
Okay.
But there's a huge freaking jumble of things that accompanies all that.
Sure.
When you tap into her mind. She does look like someone you've seen before somewhere.
Okay.
But it was definitely pre-war.
Okay. And I'm assuming I don't get anything else out of the jumble of images.
No, that's because that's something that you realize very quickly is this mirror is not supposed to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mirror. That
yeah.
Seems... All right. Does it then disappear and the connection breaks?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so since you described it as excruciating pain, Vor probably screams. You see her wave at the mirror and then let out a scream and curl up in her hammock.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mac, you basically see her do that when she looks up from the map, and then she just looks at the wall and screams. And then curls up in the hammock.
Huh.
I will jump up and pull out my battle fan and face the wall she was looking at, completely not being helpful at all.
You did, however, successfully resist, so you do not suffer any anguish.
So Mac is actually just going to fold up his map and be like, oh, I might have miscalculated there a bit, but I guess it didn't really hurt to try. Did you just try to read something's mind?
You hear Vor's like buried under her arms, but you can just hear like a muffled yes.
I will point out it doesn't hurt now, but you.
Yeah. No, but she's still mentally sorting everything out that just saw, like clearing her head. Yeah, so you should just hear, yes, there's a mirror on the wall.
Yeah, I try not to look at those. Very unpredictable, but I take it you saw something pretty interesting, didn't you?
I'll like poke my head out from underneath my arms. There was a woman in the mirror with her hands bound, and she was trying to say something. So I tried to get into her head, and it was not a pleasant place to be. I should maybe think twice before I do things like that.
Maybe. But where's the fun in that?
True. Anyway, she said, Axon is the street.
Huh.
I don't know what that means, but I know who Axon is, and I'm guessing this is in reference to Limerence Street.
Jinkies. Oh, so what's... well, I'm sorry, so what's the name of this, the kid spirit? Because I seem to have forgotten to write that down. Thomas. Hey, Thomas, do you know an Axon?
Thomas did not come with you.
Did he? I thought he was with us.
He was with you when you were in Saturnine, but he didn't accompany you on the trolley.
I could have sworn he did. Okay.
He was with you up until he was with you down when you were visiting Shah, down in her mine, and that's the last time anyone interacted with him.
Huh. Wow. I think I just lost the kid.
Lost in the physical sense or lost in a spiritual sense?
I mean, they're one and the same for me. I mean, really, you people need to start thinking of spirits as equal sentient beings. Just need a little help.
Fair.
Where did you lose him? We didn't lose him at the cliffs or anything like that.
No, but I think the last time we talked to him was at your place. Did we forget to bring Thomas around? Huh.
I should point out that even when you were with Thomas before, he wasn't necessarily there or all the way there all the time. He would sometimes fade in and out, so...
Oh. Wow. Well, I hope he doesn't wreck your place, Shaw.
I hope so too. I mean, I have housekeepers. But there are dangerous things there. I mean, he's a child. There's a forge and hammers and... Well, I guess there's nothing to be done for it.
No. But let's not call OSHA just yet, so...
Okay.
All right. So you see that so the boat is completely stopped at this point, and they think they've finished mooring it to the dock, and the captain will come down again. Actually, the mime will come down again. You see that he's taken off his hat, and his coat is open, and he's sort of in transition right now between he might be transitioning into something else, another type of mime, as he kind of is sort of coming down and is just sort of looking around. As you can see his method black shirt underneath, and he sort of looks into the room, and he's like, which Vor hears as, I heard and his voice is different noticeably. I heard did somebody scream down here? Is everybody okay?
Oh, that was just me. I'm terribly sorry. I'm fine.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, this place is kind of strange for folk who aren't used to it, so hopefully you didn't see anything too terrifying.
I just had a little bit of an unexpected scare. Really, it was all my fault. I mean, nothing to worry.
Okay. Well, yeah. Things sometimes will come up on you sometimes. I think I've seen your cousin do that a little bit sometimes too. Sometimes when she's talking to stuff. Sometimes, but
yeah, I mean,
be careful.
That's pretty common in our family. We do like to talk.
I guess. All right, folks. Well, we're here. You can feel free to come up deck. He just sort of turns and again, everyone else just saw that as heads up.
and I think because Vor has herself so convinced that this is like completely normal, she just assumes that the rest of you also heard all of that, and she turns to Mac and she's like, "After you."
I guess I should go and get the cart and bring it back up on deck.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, we're here.
Oh, good. So I'll go and get the cart with the prisoner and bring it up on deck.
Yeah, you see
where we are.
Yeah, you see that the hook is hauling it up as you speak. Well, you see it floating up into the air as you speak. Vor can see the hook, and gets brought out and lowered down onto the deck. So yes, out here, I was using the lucky coin as reference. So yes, what you see here, it's actually a it looks like a fairly it's a pretty it's not a huge harbor. There is it just sort of leads up to these golden sand on this beach. You don't really even have there are no like port authorities or anything. There are docks, but and there are people disembarking here, and then a few other ships that are going off to other places, and just basically it's a stretch of beach and an archway. And beyond the archway is what looks like it looks like in the distance there's more beach, and then there's some kind of a city back there, you think?
Well, it seems tremendously inconvenient to put the port so far from the city.
That does seem like poor design.
And at this point, the mime looks over. Oh, this is the gate. You, if you're anyone coming here for the first time, has to go through.
Okay, so we just have to we have to come through here, but we only have to come through here the first time, right?
That's right.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so what's the best method then for us to get our friend up to the city?
Oh, you can bring him through.
Okay.
There's a path.
No,
Should be able
maybe
to
that. Maybe there's a motorized walkway or something. Uber? Do they have Uber here?
Yeah.
I'm sure we could do some ride sharing. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have and translation. Yeah, we have taxis. They're a little unnerving sometimes for folks who are just coming in. But we do have them.
Well, I mean, we can get by with it. I mean, are they big enough to hold the coffin?
Oh, they're so big.
Oh, okay. Well, is there an easy way to call one? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
go.
So taxi, okay with everyone?
Sure. I mean, I imagine we have to get through that gate first.
Well, our captain says we just have to go through it once, and once we've gone through it the first time, we don't have to go through it again.
And we just walk through. There's no
That's what it sounded like.
test. Okay.
Now the captain is already moving off the ship at this point, so.
Okay.
He's-
I'll take
not
the big
answering.
cart and start pushing it down the ramp.
Okay. Push it down. You see, and most of the other folks, it looks like they're probably Elderbryn. They're people who are like changing shape and doing. Actually, no, there wouldn't be any Elderbryn here. Most of these are human for the most part. They're probably. You don't really see much in the way of Elderbryn right here. You see a few, because this is the gate. You look and you can see further down the beach, there are some boats going to a port that's like right at the edge of the city.
Privilege has its privileges. I want to stop and we're in like a walkway through the sand,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to run my hands through the sand. And with my knowledge of metals and minerals, is it actually gold?
No. It is sand. It is gold-colored sand. But the strange thing is, it's sand that is rapidly changing. Aging is perhaps the wrong word. Aging, yes, but then it's going through a process, right? It seems to be getting finer and finer the more you pick it up and look at it. This is not unlike when you were sort of here but not here before.
Right, like the fruit trees.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll head to this gate, but if somebody else tries to get in front of me and go through the gate before I do, Shaw is not going to stop them.
Well, I want to see this taxi that I've been promised.
Well, you gotta. Well, it's gonna be on the other side of the gate.
Oh, okay.
I
thought the taxi was coming on this side of the gate.
Oh no, the
Mine
taxi
doesn't.
doesn't go past the gate. No. You have to go through the gate first.
Then I will
Oh.
turn toward the gate.
Mac will take the lead and go through first. And what's the worst that could happen?
Absolutely.
The right
Well,
attitude.
Let's answer that question. Let's see. Let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, the funny thing I think I sort of decided about the about this gate in particular, and also we're still kind of operating under the lucky coin, so is that it has to do with the way they describe the Warden of the Gold Sun. So when you step through the gate, it's like you enter this tunnel of light for a moment. You're still walking. You're walking through, but it's like there's this tunnel above you, and it's like there's this pulsing light above you. And there are all these little, you can now see all of these little orbs flying around. And they're spheres about the size of a fist. And just one of them whips up to you and says, and you hear this little voice. It says, "Please leave an impression for Shima."
Well, I don't know what kind of impression you're looking for, but here we are. I'm a propane salesman. Sell propane and propane accessories. Seriously, what do you want?
So you say that, and it's there's this flash, and it says, "Thank you," and moves away.
All right. Well, I'm really glad we did all that theater, and
Did we on the outside see this happen?
Yeah.
I turned to Vor immediately. I am no good at impressions. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through this gate.
Well, okay, but Shaw, there's more than one kind of impression. And they didn't specify, so why don't you get out some of your tools and like make an impression on the gate?
Oh, I could do that. It seems a little bit vandalous.
They said an impression. They'll stop you if it's not what they want, I assume.
Okay. All right. Shaw will head boldly forward to this gate.
Okay. Do you go in?
Yes.
Okay. Once you go in, tunnel of light. Little thing comes up. Please leave an impression for Shima.
Of course. Well, I do have my forger's mark and a small hammer. I make them appear from my gauntlets of tools. And where would be the most appropriate place for me to leave the impression?
Thank you. And then it goes away.
I turn around. It didn't let me do it at all.
Well, but it didn't stop you, so win-win.
All right. Put my tools away and pull the cart through. Does it stop the cart?
Nope.
Okay.
There's an Eldarin. It's been here before.
Yeah.
And then I will go through myself.
Please leave an impression for Shima.
For my impression, can I just like push on this thing's mind a little bit? Like not in a way to do like any damage, but like this, they said impression, right? So like
Yeah.
I'm going to make a mental impression.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can do that. So I'm not even going to have you roll for it. Are you trying to interpret anything, or are you just sending?
No, I'm just pushing against its brain a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, you sense it taking note of that. And, and then it goes, thank you. Moves on to the other people also coming through the gate. See, the thing about this warden is she strikes me as fairly laissez-faire. So she's going to collect her messages later.
That was fine. I just finished like walking through this gate. It's totally okay.
Yeah.
Guess we should go find a car.
Yeah, a taxi is what I was told by the captain.
All right, so you come through, and so you come up to this. There's this kind of this area where the sort of the road has widened to meet the gate, and there's this area, and this okay, I'm now going to draw a card to figure out the taxi. We got through the gate. I'm going to draw a card for the taxi, because of course I am. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, excellent. Okay. We got the revealing knife, which we've had before. Again, that's a visions card. Basically cuts everything, slices through buildings, mountains as easily as paper or flesh. Exposes things. Pale is up, green is down. Okay. So a taxi of secrets. Actually, there's a thing for that. I didn't think I was going to be using it, but of course I am. Because it's right here in front of me. Yeah. So yeah, there was something that was like made out of secrets. I'm trying to remember that might come from the gold. But we won't worry about that right now. We'll worry about that later. In the meantime, there is it's either going to be I guess it could be a very large slab of a thing. Yes, there we go. So you see this big sort of stone box with what look like symbols carved all over it. That looks kind of like a cable car, sort of the shape of it, except there are no cables, and it's hovering just above the ground. And you see the mime. He just sort of gestures to it, and he's like,
Yeah, I'll go like head over.
I will follow and push this thing. Is there a way to get up on it that I can push the cart?
Oh
Or is it
yes. Well,
open,
actually,
or-
that's the well. The thing is, it doesn't look as though there is. I should point that out. It's very big. It's very sort of wide. It looks like someone took. It's kind of as you get closer. It's like someone took some stone tablets or gravestones or something. Basically anything stone tablets with stuff carved into them, and made those into a weird sort of big cable car looking thing, or like a big sort of bus looking thing. And there don't appear to be any doors. And then you see... Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was gonna turn to our captain and be like, we're a little bit new here. How do we get inside?
So you see that he is now, he's wearing a beret and a long coat. He just sort of he just sort of turns around, and he's got a long cigarette holder. As he turns around, and he just sort of gestures to it, and Vor hears him say, "Oh, it's simple. You just step in. All you have to do is just go inside."
Okay. I follow his instructions.
Excellent. How do you attempt to execute them?
I just walk in. I'm gonna platform 9 3/4 this.
As you step up to it, you hear shifting, and it goes, and a doorway opens for you.
Oh, perfect. That's what Vor wants to see in the world. Reality changing.
That's right.
This tracks with her personal belief system.
So you see Vor do that.
I will follow, and a little bit more hesitantly pushing this cart.
So the door widens. As you push the cart in to accommodate it. And you wheel it in. And there actually, oddly enough, is plenty of room inside here for the cart.
It's spacious.
I know. It's way better than Uber Black.
Yeah.
So the mime heads up to the front, where there is a someone driving who looks like he's just wearing a flat cap, and he looks kind of furry. His face is kind of furry. It's sort of a furry orange. And the mime is like, and the guy just sort of turns and looks. He says, "What?" Sorry, pal, you gotta say something for me to be able to take you somewhere.
Can I translate for the mime?
Yeah, the mime is saying, let's see, actually, where do you want to, Says, "We are going to need to stop at the police station."
So I'll turn to the driver and be like, "Can't you hear him? He says we have to go to the police station."
It's some
Why are we
some
going-
kind of joke.
Why are we going to the police station?
Where else do we take prisoners in custody?
He gestures to the...
Oh, I figured we'd just bring them to Her Elegance directly.
So at that point, you see the cabbie just sort of like stiffen, sort of turns. You want to go see Her Elegance? Her Elegance. Actually, yeah, you want to go... You want to go straight to her?
I mean, that's fine too, I suppose.
No. I think we should just go through the middlemen. The police, the authorities should be able to handle this for us.
But Mac, there's a rebellion. You don't know if the police are part of the rebellion.
Hey, Mr. Taxi Driver, are the police a part of the rebellion?
Those kinds of questions are above my pay grade.
Seems fair. I mean, if we can go directly to her, that should be fine.
I mean, I can take you to the... I can take you to the path to where she's staying. I don't go any further than that.
Path. Huh. Hey,
It's not vehicle friendly.
fair enough. Captain, what do you think? Do we just go to the station, or do we go to see Her Elegance?
Well, I have to stay in town, but I have to see a couple of people. I was going to deal with a few things while I'm here. I would be happy to wait for you here for when you want to return, depending on... Are you going to be over long, do you think?
It's okay, you think, though, if we go to see her elegance directly?
Let me just check on something. I want to make sure that I have this right. Yes, we do. So the mime is like, it is an experience.
Well, I like experiences. That sounds like a good time.
I like experiences too, having only heard half of this conversation. I think I just want us to do what's right. And now that we're talking about police and everybody else, I realize that we don't really know what's right. Do we need to find out more about what's going on? I mean, my plan was just to... I mean, obviously, this is a bad actor because he tried to kill us. But is it the right thing to take them to the police, or is it the right thing to take them to Her Elegance? Like, we just don't know. Should we go ask around first?
I don't think we really have time for that. There is a matter of...
Oh, that's right. The end of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's just go directly to Her Elegance, and if it doesn't work out, then that's fine too. I mean, we'll just take our bad actor someplace else.
I mean, Vor will be the first to tell you that we're a fucking delight. So I don't see why we couldn't just charm Her Elegance with our roguish ways.
I mean, yeah, Mac's totally right. I think this is completely fine. Let's just go take this guy to Her Elegance.
All right.
I mean, we just dealt with the Immutable cliffs. I mean,
all right.
How bad could Her Elegance really be?
I agree.
Famous last words.
Please, to Her Elegance, please.
Okay.
The path to Her Elegance.
You
Or
got
the
it.
path to elegance.
And he turns to sort of a thing, and you see these symbols just sort of starting to take up, which are, you assume, the fair. The mime will turn and he'll say, well, he'll once again be sort of like, and so before you hear the mime saying, I'm thinking tonight I'm not going to be able to take off again until tomorrow. Again, I said I had some things to tie up in the city. So if it will be all right with you, we can I can be waiting for you at the dock tomorrow. If you're going to come back that soon, do you think?
That seems fine. Yeah.
I mean,
if
we
not,
just
you
gotta
can-
drop off. We just gotta drop off a package.
Yeah, I mean, we'll yeah. That's fine.
If not, you can leave word with some. I give you and actually he's patting his pockets and he's like digs deep, and you can see he reaches into one of his pockets, and as he goes down to the elbow and then further down, impossibly deep into a pocket that shouldn't have that much in it, or shouldn't have that much space in it, and he pulls out a card, which he will hand to someone, which he will hold out, and whoever takes the card takes it. It has an address on it,
Cool.
written in, and it has there should be a name on it, which Jim cannot clearly see the name in his mind right now, but he will. It's a few sort of odd glyphs, the way that it's spelled out. It's the name of the people with whom he is staying. And so you get into the cab. The cab takes off. It will go through the city, on the outskirts at the very least, to get to where you're going, out on the highway, and will ultimately be depositing you. As it moves out from the city onto the spiral road. It's a highway, but a highway that goes out over nothing. You see nothing but sort of golden clouds down beneath this stretch of road as it continues on and corkscrews back and forth. And
Oh, this is certainly an elegant ride.
Yeah.
the mime has been dropped off in the city. As you're going to be coming closer, you will see. As there are other sort of turns one can take, but off in the distance, you will see what the cabbie refers to as the Unshattered Tower. It is a castle that you see in the distance. And the thing that you notice about it is what everyone notices about it. Pieces of the castle move. Parts of it as though it is rebuilding itself constantly. Parts of it moving from along down below and up to the top, and up to the top from down below. Rather strikingly similarly to the home of the foreman. And that is, I believe, where we're going to end for this week. Now, you are still close enough to the city if you should decide at some point in the interim that you need to do something there first, but we'll come to that if we come to that. In the meantime, we shall head to the land of outros. Well, folks, thanks so much. I'm so glad we're back. And we're going to go ahead and do our outros. Once again, reverse order. Tell folks where they can find you, and any thoughts about the session. And we will start once again with Danielle.
Hi, so I'm Danielle. I'm at Raya Raconteur on Twitter. You can find me in a lot of places. You can find me on Matt Scroticus's channel on Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern, where I'm running a game called Choir of Elements, which is a high-level D&D game. And you can also find me over on at Variant Roles on Wednesday, where I run a game called Dungeons and Deductibles, which is about fantasy insurance claims adjusters. It's very funny. We're back for season 2. And I also play over there on Friday nights in a Dresden Files RPG game where I am another wizard who also likes murder. So if any of those things sound fun, come find me there.
And were there any thoughts about this particular session or anything you want?
I love that Vor's mental manipulation abilities are so powerful enough that she can convince herself of a completely different reality, and that's not going to come back to bite her in the ass later.
Not at all.
Nor is that power going to get unused for the rest of the game, I'm sure.
This will be very interesting.
I will dig my own holes, thank you.
Excellent. Good. We like that here on this channel. Let's move on now to Anino.
Hey everybody, I'm Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. As we mentioned at the top of the show, I am in my 3rd annual Extra Life run. On the 12th, we're going to be flipping the script a little bit, and I'll be hosting a special Dresden Files one-shot with other Doc as a player along with me, and it will be GM'd by Origami Shuriken, and feature some of the pretty much coolest people I would invite to my own birthday party. So, as we also mentioned, I am raising money on behalf of Boston Children's Hospital. I'm not going to talk too much about it this time around, but we are at about $3,700 right now. $4,000. We're going to be unlocking another tier of giveaways in which you could win up to $100 worth of whatever you want. Since I love Invisible Sun so much, I will actually throw in a whole box set of that too as a part of a giveaway. If we hit that 4,000 goal, at 5,000, I'm giving away a new Nintendo Switch Lite. You can find out more information by following the link right there as to all the fun things that we're doing. And it should be a good time. As far as this session goes, I like that we are a really fascinating group of con people. I mean, it's just, I just really like the fact that we get into so much trouble, and for some reason we're just getting away with a lot of things right now. Conning a guardian was not something that I really anticipated us doing, but somehow we did it. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if we could con like the other 8 guardians or so. So we're gonna go on a tour, Vor.
This is very interesting.
Down. Let's do it.
That was a very interesting thing. The interesting thing is technically the warden of the gold is Shima, and so it was really. But yeah, the way that she is described, and I'll go ahead and let people see behind the curtain a little bit for this. Is that they describe her as a powerful and wise being of beauty and grandeur. She's difficult to find and more difficult to impress or even gain the notice of. So I figured, since you were already dealing with this statue, that would be the real challenge to get through. And then Shima just left her answering machine going for everyone else to actually do her job through the gate. And if she finds you interesting, then perhaps something more will happen. But we'll see how that goes. But yes, that's glorious. And finally, Djinnaya.
Hello, my name is Djinnaya, and you can find me at Djinnaya pretty much everywhere on the internet, but most often on Instagram or Twitter or Twitch, probably again soon now that I'm not buried in deadlines. You will see me back here next Saturday, and at no games in between, but hopefully other games soon, probably on the other side of Big Bad Con, now that I'm leaving the studio a little bit more. So
cool.
Oh, and I don't know. I love this game so much that I like the fact that it can kind of be whatever you want it to be, as long as it's weird. You know, that you can have these sort of these battle sequences, but then you can just kind of have like, let's go to lunch. You know, and it's entertaining either way. I love it. Yeah, and I really like the fact that we're starting to kind of bond as a group almost entirely on this idea that we can just bend the universe to our will, which seems so Vizsla-like, but also like something that will eventually be our big bad, right? I'm really liking all of the, I don't know, dynamics of, the different ways that we're con artists, especially since Shah Gamelon is sure she's not a con artist. She is absolutely the most honest and law-abiding of people who will always do the right thing.
I know, and that's what makes her such a great asset to a bunch of con people.
Well,
She's
you
so
are
very
her
earnest.
friends, and you have to support your friends. It's a good thing to do to support your friends. So, so she is doing the right thing, and yeah, I love it. I love it.
Very earnest.
Thank you, Jim.
It's glorious. It's glorious. But as for me, who am I? I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, and YouTube channel. Let's see. Speaking of which, it is entirely possible that the world is about to come to an end because I have caught up my YouTube channel with all of my streamed videos. So everything, except for this one you're watching right now, is on there. So yeah, if you go down below and click on YouTube, you'll be able to find everything. There are a crazy number of playlists right now for basically all the different series of different, all the different kinds of every single different freaking game that gets played on this channel, and there are a lot. Are on there. So that's it's I am OtherDoc also on YouTube. So you can probably usually just find do a search for that, and hopefully that'll bring you my videos. So have at it should you desire to go back into the past for those. Also, all the highlights they're also available on the Twitch channel as highlights for folks that just want to read them off there. They're here too. Well, that said, what's happening here? So tomorrow we are going to do a one-shot of For the Queen. We do one-shots on Sundays, and that'll be what we're doing. We've had it on this channel before, and I wanted to play something light and easy, and that's what we're doing, and also deliciously tragic, because I can't stop myself. This coming Tuesday, we're going to be having the finale of this month's short campaign, and that's actually, technically, it's October 1st, but we're having the last session of Mashed. Which is a Powered by the Apocalypse game set during the Korean War. And things got crazy dramatic last time. And I think that we're going to see what happens in the finale as these... we'll see if all the threads are sewn up. I don't know if they will be, but we'll see. Then, once again, of course, 1 week from today, Saturday, we will have more of this. The next episode of The Edge of Paradox. So I would be very gratified should you choose to tune in for that. What else? Sign-ups are currently going on still for a few different things. Sign-ups for next month's short campaign, which will be Don't Rest Your Head. That is a horror game, sort of horror/urban fantasy game, where everyone is playing insomniacs who have been awake for so long they can see the nightmares, and the nightmares can also see them, and they can now have access to the Mad City, where they can go, and they have powers that are created from their exhaustion and their madness. It is just very interesting setting. I'm very much looking forward to playing it over multiple sessions. So signups are open for that through this coming Wednesday. Wednesday the 3rd, I believe it is. 2nd or 3rd, I can't remember. Let's see, Tuesday is the 1st, so Wednesday is the 2nd. I don't know why my brain wants to add a number to it, but it's the 2nd. So this coming Wednesday, October 2nd, is the last day you can sign up for Don't Rest Your Head. So if you want to get in on that, sign up. Also, signups have just been opened for a couple of one-shots happening in October. We're going to have a one-shot of Tall Pines coming up. We're probably very close to cutoff point for that. As far as the timing goes, I'm going to start up, the admin on that, but we might be able to cram one more person in. I'll look through everything in a little bit. But Tall Pines, that's a GM-less game that is inspired somewhat by Twin Peaks, and it's about surreal murder, a surreal murder mystery out in a remote town. Then we're going to have also a couple of one-shots of 10 Candles. That's going to be, I think, very interesting, as the first time I've ever done anything with it. That's a game of survival tragedy, or tragic survival. Basically, the idea that a lot of people have been wiped out, and everyone is going to die, but the question is, what do you do with your last hours? It's very bleak and delicious. So if anyone wants to sign up for that, once again, you can click on the sign up link down below, RPG Signups, or go to GymYesThatGym.com and click on Game Sign Up, and links to all 3 of those games will be there. As always, beginners are more than welcome. So when we hit the end card, I am going to send a raid. Who shall I raid? I'll go ahead and raid Variant Roles. For if you would like to keep the Invisible Sun going, they're having their game Vizli. I don't know how far in they are, but let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and head over there, and feel free, if you so desire, to accompany and say hello to them. And that again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you next week. Farewell.